Welcome back to another episode of Tuesday Talks with Mom. And this evening we are joined by Tinika Dismuke she's the founder of Stepping Stones Academy for Autism, as well as Becki Usello, our other moms on a mission. So thank you for joining us, everyone.
Good to
Thank you,
be
guys.
here.
Yes, so great to be here. Thank you,
I
Tara.
love it. Well, Tinika is from Thomasville, Georgia, and she's founded Stepping Stones Autism Academy. And I am so excited for you to share your journey of how you got there and what exactly it is that you do.
Well, thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure to always share our story and what we're doing here in Thomasville for our autism spectrum family, community, our neurodivergent children. So, I have been a speech language pathologist for over 20, almost 25 years. So, that is my background. And doing that for the past several years, I've had a private practice, and we realized that a lot of our clients were coming to us on the spectrum of autism. And families where moms were having to go one place for speech therapy, maybe another city, even another city for occupational therapy, maybe behavior therapy in another city, another location. So they were really spread thin. So my first intention was to develop just a multidisciplinary clinic where parents could come and bring their kids and get all of the services all in one place. And so we did that. And in 2020, COVID hit, and it allowed me the time also to sit down for a few moments and, build a practice. And once we built the practice with all of the therapies, our children were making extraordinary progress. And I received a call from God that said, you have to open a school. It was never my intentions. Like I said, I've always been a practitioner. That's what I've done. And that's what I knew. But a school was never on the radar for me. But God, it was a calling from God. And 2021, my husband went forward and got the school incorporated as a nonprofit. And so that's when I realized, oh my goodness, I really have to do this now. So one of the messages God sent to me when I was called to do this, because my first answer was, I can't do this. This is going to be too much. And he promised, he said, I will send you the help. And that's exactly what he has done. He has sent the pieces. I have an extraordinary team. Our school was actually designed and created by therapists. Myself being head of school, a speech pathologist, my principal is an occupational therapist, and my director of services is also a speech language pathologist.
Wow,
That's
Tanika, that's
incredible.
so much to unpack. I'm so excited for our listeners to be able to hear that something so phenomenal has been created for students and for families. I mean, I don't know about you, Becki, but I have heard from so many moms who spend half of their child's life in the vehicle, transporting from city to
Yes.
city, just like you said, Tanika,
Yeah.
place to place to get the therapies they need, the behavior therapies, the supports. And then on top of that, we've got to manage our school setting. And how do we get
Mhm.
back to school? And one mom most recently told me, then my daughter has to make up classes. They said the school, they had chosen a school of choice and said, we had to leave to go get therapies. And then they're like,
Yeah.
well, now we have a makeup issue. And
Mhm.
they said, we can't service you because you have to be here during this time frame. And there was no flexibility there. So Tanika, you have answered really literally a prayer. And like you said, a calling for these parents in your area to be able to have a one-stop shop,
Yeah.
and you're meeting them. I love how you said that it's individualized and that you're covering, I ran a program that offered differentiated instruction based upon where the student was. And I can attest from personal experience that when
Mhm.
you meet a child where they're at and you teach
Absolutely.
in that manner, right, Becki, you
Absolutely.
you cover what they need. Becki,
Yes.
I don't want to cut you off, Becki, but anything that you took away from there?
Yeah, well, I had a couple questions,
Yeah.
Tanika. How many students are in this school, and is this organized by grade? And if so, how many kids per grade, or if it's just by classes and abilities? Like how is the organization piece?
Yes. So right now we have 19 students. We started with two. So we have 19, and we are accredited school. We are accredited through the Georgia Accreditation Commission here in Georgia. And we are accredited pre-K through fifth grade. And so we actually grow with our students. So
I love
this
it.
year, our kindergartens will be moving to first grade, and our fifth graders will be moving to sixth grade. So going into this academic school year, we have a first grade class. Our first grade class, we have about 5 students. We have a second grade class. Our second grade class has about 6 students. We have a third grade class. Our third grade class has 6, I think. And we don't have a fifth grade. No, I'm sorry, we don't have fourth grade because we don't have any fourth grade students. So we have a fifth and sixth that's combined. And in
Oh,
our
wow.
fifth and sixth, we have 4 students.
I
Okay.
love it.
Yeah,
I
so our
love it.
classes
That's
are small.
wonderful.
We have our teacher to student ratio is like 1 to 4. Typically, is the average. We also have regulation texts, and our regulation texts they stand with our motto. Our motto for our school is regulation before expectation. So we believe a regulated mind, a regulated nervous system, a regulated body is just a
Yep.
human thing that we all need. And when that is in
Yes.
place, that's when a person thrives. That's when you can teach. That's when you can put those components and those layers on. And that's when education truly happens, when a child is feels safe and regulated.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing, Tanika. So, are you in line with what Becky asked? Are you growing based upon the students that come to you? Is that kind of how the growth model is looking?
Yeah, so we have a wait list of probably about 50 plus kids. Yes, at one time it was more than that. We've had some parents that have had to move on, and that has definitely been heavy on my heart, knowing that it's so many kids that need the services and that are on our wait list. However, the facility that we currently occupy, our max capacity is 20. We have not had the ability to be able to expand into a larger facility. We've tried. Unfortunately, in 2022, we hired a contractor. We put our hearts and financial resources all in one basket to get this school up and going. And we were part of that. What I thought would never happen to us. The contractor ran off with our money, and yes,
My goodness.
so we lost a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy in a facility that we were thought we would be able to occupy. And so we had to wind up letting the school go, letting the efforts in trying to get it remodeled, and just continue to move forward with where we are now. That was one of the hardest challenges I've had to face,
For sure.
because I just couldn't fathom someone that knew our heart and knew what we were trying to do as far as
No,
expanding the school, expanding space, would do something like this. But it happened to us, and I had to really just focus on what we were doing to keep moving forward.
that's right. That's
And we're
right.
just gonna we're just gonna stay where we are now with the kids that we have until we're in a position to be able to find something that would allow us to expand, to be able to
Well,
bring more kids.
Tanika, let's just throw that out there as a plea to
Yeah.
Thomasville, Georgia.
Yeah.
You guys rally together and find a way to institute more space for this school. And you know what? We're just going to lift that up for the
Please.
call.
Yes,
But
please.
you know what? When it's time that someone is going to come forward and be able to make that raw, make to right that wrong that's been
Yeah.
done, because I have found, and I've said it before, sitting there clenching our fists, we get nothing. But when we open our
Yeah.
hands and we ask for that offering, and we truly do have the right hearts and minds, it is an overflow of abundance. So
Yes.
I just think that it's a period of waiting, and I really respect the fact that you guys kind of rallied back around the fact that maybe we're just supposed to wait here
Yeah.
and continue to pray over that 50-person waiting list,
And that's
because
exactly what we're doing, Tara.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that is amazing. And the fact, I love the regulation piece. I love the fact that you're looking at the whole child. There's so many components. Becky can attest as being a teacher in the public school. When people are dysregulated, that nothing gets done. Right?
They
It's
can't
total.
think.
They can't think.
Yes.
You can't think. If
Hmm.
you're the teacher and you come in, there was a time when I was teaching and I came in and I was a wreck. I had a really bad morning and I had to go in and compose myself. And so think
Right.
about little people, little
Yeah,
kids, they need that. And the fact that your school is founded on that, I love it.
absolutely.
Well,
We start our
and
days off.
the life skills that are learned from that, that's
Yes.
going to carry them through the teenage years, which, I mean, what teenager is not dysregulated at some point in
Right.
time?
Yeah.
And then through adulthood, I mean, that's so crucial that they learn the regulation piece now.
What we teach our kids, as you just said, Becky, to understand that,
Yes.
and not wait to like myself, like many of us, till we're older to understand how important that piece is, for our overall well-being. And they learn that very early. We start our days off with gratitude gatherings, and in that gratitude gathering, that's where we ground ourselves. We speak about what we're grateful for, what our day will be like. We cite our core values, and we set that tone from the beginning of the day, and it moves us forward.
I
Oh,
love
I
that.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
The name of your school, Stepping Stones.
Mhm.
As I was reading that, two images came to my mind. One, a child leaping across stepping stones in a creek bed,
Yes.
in the sounds of nature and the green and the fresh air. And then the other one was a child and an adult stepping through a garden,
Yes.
and looking at all that has been put forth before them, and what a
Oh yeah.
calming, centering opportunity. And so just the name of your facility, I don't know if that was the intent, but that every time I have read the
Yeah.
title of your school, the name of your school, those are the two images that continually come up. And then the fact that you start with gratitude, I love it. I mean, we
Yes.
all need that. What a reminder, Tanika.
Thank
And
you.
what a difference to the
And you
to
know
the
what, Tara?
traditional education. Go ahead.
What you just spoke of is like our logo. It seems like you've seen our logo because you just spoke that it is a kid stepping on stones, like over a creek, getting, and he's reaching for a star. So that is our logo. And,
Oh my
we
gosh,
always,
I've never seen your logo. So Tanika, see,
yes.
you've
And
accomplished it right
I'm
there.
telling you, just right on. And every year we have a theme, and so this theme for our school year this year was rooted in purpose and growing in grace. So
Oh my
again,
I love
it
that.
just really goes to what you said. So definitely in line. It was again, I started Stepping Stones. It was birthed from my therapy practice, and it was started in '04, and it was never I never thought of having a school. But
right.
I think there are things that are just when we're innately born to do something
Yep.
and it's part of our alignment, it all lines up.
It
So it's
all
just
works out.
alignment. Mm-hmm.
Well, so do you offer, one of the things I was speaking to a group of teachers this past weekend. I happened to be at a gathering, and they weren't necessarily in favor of school choice, and I was expressing why I feel it's so important. And one of them was a speech therapist, and I shared
Mm-hmm.
with her. I said, one of the reasons that I think that choice is so important is because you're able to partner with parents, and it's different. And I had the luxury. And I think, Tanika, I talked to you a little bit about this. I had the luxury of becoming friends with my son's speech teacher when he was in
Yes.
elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I requested of the school, and they remarkably allowed me to do it back in the day. I don't think you could now, especially after 2020, but they allowed me to go in and sit in on therapy sessions. And I was sharing with this speech teacher, I said, she's like, "Well, what exactly do you help parents with?" And I say, "Well, if you provide speech therapy for 30 minutes a week, which is what they offered my son in the public
Yeah.
school." And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "I don't know what you're doing. I can't carry
Mm-hmm.
that over in the home. And I have the child most of the time. So it's imperative that we partner." And I said, you become friends with those therapists. And when you were talking about one parent had to go, here to get their speech and over there to get OT, and you
Mm-hmm.
think about that, I mean, parents are fractured and families are fractured by all of the moving parts. But when you
Yeah.
house it all in one location, you provide an opportunity for parents to really engage in.
Absolutely.
Right? And you marry it with the school,
Yeah.
and you said that you integrate that into the classroom. And I think about that and I think, wow, it gives parents an opportunity to really become a living and breathing piece which should be happening anyway, into their
Yes.
child's education and all of their extra needs, so that you guys are using the same language at home, the
Yes.
same practice at home. And that's what was so successful for my son. When that
Yes.
speech teacher was using specific language when we're talking about the calendar, and specific
Mhm.
language when we're talking about, just building his language, I was able
Yeah.
to mimic her. My husband goes, "You sound like a little parrot." And I said, "Because students need repetition and consistency."
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like that's what your school is doing. And
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think it's tremendous. And, you know,
Mhm.
collaboration, some people say, well, that's just a myth. And I said, no, really, I think that it can work not just between choice programs, but between public programs and choice programs and families. I think that we
Yeah.
really need to rethink our public education in our nation and how we can make
Absolutely.
this better for everybody.
Absolutely. And, as you said, with school choice, the parents that come to us, to come to our door, those are parents that have tried it in public schools. And, as
Yes.
we all know, or our children that have special needs are the most underserved in the public school system.
Yes.
And we have parents that it is so critical, especially when we speak of children that are on the spectrum.
Yes.
Parents need to be educated. So what
Yes.
we do, a part of what we do too with our program, we offer parent training. So our
Yes.
parents are,
Awesome.
and it's a requirement, they're required to
Yes.
come in at least once a month for parent training, because it can't just stop at the school doors. It
Right.
has to carry on. That's how we change lives. That's how kids thrive,
Absolutely.
when it
Yes.
goes hand in hand and past just the school doors.
I
And
love
so,
it.
we are grateful to have those parents, like you, Becky, that like you, Tara, that I want to be involved. I've tried public school system, and even if I have to waive, some of the rights, they talk about,
That's
that's one
right.
of the downfalls with the IDEA. Fortunately, our school offers IEPs, education plans as well.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
we're able to work hand in hand, with parents, and we actually do what we said we're going to do in those plans that are developed with parents' involvement.
I
That's
love
huge.
I love that you bring that up, Tanika, because that's one of the greatest myths is, "Oh my gosh, you are giving away your rights." And
Right.
I expressed to parents, I said, "Let me tell you something." I told our state legislator, because a couple of them asked me that when I was advocating here for our scholarship. And I said, "Let me tell you something. Those rights mean nothing when they're not being followed through on.
Absolutely.
I am the
Absolutely.
enforcer, right? I am the
Yes.
parent. I am the enforcer of those rights. No one from the federal
Yes.
Department of Education was coming to save me. They said, "Oh, go talk to
Exactly.
your state." No one in the state was coming to save me. They said, "Oh, go talk to your district." So I said, "Wait a second. I see the missing link. I am the enforcer." So I
Yes.
pulled on my little
Starts
enforcer
with
cap and I marched in there and I said, "Listen, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to go somewhere that will do it, because now I have leverage. Because if
Mhm.
Tanika does not pull through on what she said she'd do, I can pick up my child and
Mhm.
essentially my money ball and walk away and go home and choose not to participate anymore, because
Right.
we can choose to do it together." And
Right.
like, I love the other thing that you said. I wrote it down. A requirement. Tanika, when I ran our program at the private school and I
Mhm.
had the public director of special education say to me during an IEP meeting at the end, she said, "How in the world do you have 100% parent participation?" And I said,
Mhm.
"It's a requirement."
Right.
Mhm.
I said, "There is no not showing up
Yeah.
for the meeting. I will stop the meeting. I
There's no
won't even
choice for that.
attend it," right? No choice.
Right.
You need to come, because if you're
Mhm.
teaching something to the child, you have to educate the parent, because
Have
if
to.
Mhm.
not, you just made your job, your therapist's job, your teacher's job 10
Mhm.
times harder.
Yes.
And it's not a good return on the investment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. Oh, Tanika, when I come through Georgia, I'm going to
You
hunt you
got
down.
to. Oh my
I
goodness. When people come visit our school, they tell us we're like glue, because our kids are so loving. And you can tell that they're safe and they're loved. And people walk in the building, they want to greet, they want to introduce themselves, they want to give hugs. We have several people that when they see our children, we perform a lot in our city, we get them out there, they will say, "I can't believe this child has autism." As if
see
there is a look or there's a behavior or something
Yeah.
that they're supposed to have per quote.
breaking through
But
boundaries.
yes, absolutely. And just they see the best of them and the
Yes. And
potential.
And you've taught them every morning at the start of the day
Yes.
to be
Start of the day.
grateful and to
Mm-hmm.
count their blessings and to look
Yeah.
around them. And when you frame that, when you build that character piece in there,
Yes.
there's nothing that can stop it. I mean, you've changed the whole trajectory of those children's lives.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
We believe that wholeheartedly, 100% for
I
sure.
love it. I love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Tanika, before we is there anything like essential that you want to share with parents in your area that maybe we've left out that you feel like they just need to know or in addition to that, somebody that's maybe never thought of starting a school, never
Yeah.
thought of taking their practice or their craft the next step. Is there anything else that you want to share to make sure that parents or listeners out there know?
Well, definitely, especially in my area, I'm so grateful that I was selected to be a fellow for AFC, the American Federation for Children, because it allowed me to get better education on school choice,
Yes.
and I've been so grateful for that. It's given me opportunities to come back and educate my community. I
I
am in
love
a rural community where a lot of parents just don't know their options and their rights. They don't know that they are, as you said, Tara, they are the ones that dictate what happens for their children, and
yeah.
they have the choice. You know, if the school system, I don't down the public school system, my
Right.
kids attend the public school system, it fits them, they
Right.
succeed, they're doing well. But every child, that is not the case, and
That's
especially our
right.
children that are on the spectrum or maybe neurodivergent. You know, we have schools like mine that's a micro school that is specifically designed for them, with
Mhm.
their challenges, their needs in mind. And so parents have that right, because with school choice, the money follows the child. So
Mhm.
it gives them
Right.
that option to have the right to be educated the way that they need to be educated. So, you know, definitely want to let my parents know in this community, look into school choice options. They can contact me, contact my staff at Stepping Stones. We're more than willing to help, educate them, guide them, even if it's not our school, you know, another school in the area that may
Right.
fit. You know, I just really want them to get that understanding
I
of knowing
love it.
their options and their rights for their children and their education.
I love it. I
The
love it.
second part of your question is for a founder. I will tell you, this has not been an easy task. I'll tell people all the time, it is hard work. It is from the heart. It is
Right.
not something that you are truly driven and passionate about. You know, I would definitely say explore other options. But if it's on your heart and you feel it's something you're called to do, it literally changes lives. And that is priceless for my team and I. You know, that's what keeps us going. That's what gets us up every day when we look at our children and look at the progress that they've made. And as you said, Tara, it's changed the whole trajectory of their lives. So
Absolutely.
we are very grateful for the purpose work we get to do every day. And I want that for everybody, whether it's opening a school or, you know, doing this podcast that you guys do, you know, being moms that support other moms and on this educational journey. You know, finding that alignment and our purpose is really the bottom line of what I want for
Yes.
any and everybody.
I love it. Oh, thank you so much. And Becky, is there anything that you want to add that maybe we missed or that you feel like a nugget that you got that you want to emphasize for our viewers?
Well, Tanika, I'm just so glad you were able to join us because this story is incredible to me because as a retired teacher and as a mom um, of a daughter with disabilities, it's so refreshing to hear how you are centered on meeting the children where they are.
Yeah.
And I'm just so encouraged that you have done this heart work, as you said it. Um, and I just what a
Thank
story
you.
for other parents and other people that are in the therapy sector to start a school like this. And I'm just really hoping and praying that people will hear the story and act on it and know that it's not an easy journey, but it is meaningful and it is purposeful. And it is from the heart and it changes children's lives and it changes families' lives. So,
Absolutely.
Tanika, thank you for sharing your story because I'm confident this is going to affect a lot of families.
Thank you so much, Becky. Yes, thank you.
Wonderful.
And I just like to add one other point. You know, you made
Mhm.
me think about it, Becky. You know, our school will just always be in Thomasville. I've heard people say, "Oh, won't you come to this city, this area?" That's not the vision that God gave me. But what I would
Right.
like to do is for it to be a model for so many
Yeah.
other schools.
Yeah.
So, my team and I, that's another part of what we do. We go out and we educate other
Yes.
school leaders, possible people that want to open a
Good.
school. We open our doors and say, "Hey, come, learn beside us." We're still learning, we're still growing, but we're willing to share what we found that has worked.
I love it.
Oh, that just gave me goosebumps because the fact that you're willing to be a model, I mean, that's huge. That's life
When
changing.
and sometimes people come across like the golden nugget and they wanna hide it under a bush, and I say, "You know what? Let your light shine.
Oh,
Put it out
absolutely.
there. Put it out there. Share what you have." I traveled across our state, shared what I knew, and, so if you guys out there want to know about this Stepping Stone Academy,
Yes.
go to Thomasville, Georgia, visit them, take a look and see, and their team, yes, contact them at steppingstoneacademy.com and go and take a look and see, because there's nothing better than finding a success and then replicating it and letting it spread like a tidal wave across our nation, because we have children out there that need options and opportunities, and Tinika and her team are making that happen in Georgia. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of Tuesday Talks with Mom, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for
See
having me.